Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, back at it again. Here we are. Now we're going to talk about this upcoming game against the Cardinals. So much to talk about, so many things to cover. You know what I'm saying? Sam Darnold is out. Oh, man, this team's in a lot of trouble. We're still looking for our first win. I mean, there's issues aplenty. Issues aplenty. So, listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. So without further ado, folks, let's go ahead and get into the show. I'm pretty fired up. So, listen, first things first, you got Sam Darnold. He's going to be out. He's dealing with a shoulder issue, which is huge. Now you got Joe Flacco starting. Man, we're going to see how this, how this situation turns out offensively. We're going to see if things, improve, if they change. We've already seen, report, or not even reports, but an interview done, Adam Gase is saying, hey, he's not going to change up any of the play calls at all offensively. So we know that that's going to be the same. We know that, Adam Gase is going to be Adam Gase, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to see how Joe Flacco slings it around. We know that Joe isn't necessarily the most mobile as well, especially when you look at the issues that we have at our offensive line position too, because Becton looks like he's going to be out with that shoulder issue. I'm hoping that they sit him out. He's doubtful. So I don't want to see him put out there on the field because that issue with his shoulder could get even worse. It could get aggravated and really get bad. So when you look at the situation there, Flacco's probably going to be under a lot of pressure. This Cardinals team has guys that can get after it. This Cardinals team, has guys that are high motor, high speed defensively. So I'm looking to see how Joe Flacco is protected in this game. Will Adam Gase kind of dial things up? Will he finally make adjustment if another team makes an adjustment to what he's coming out there doing offensively? Looks like Le'Veon Bell is going to be back in this game as well. He looks like he's going to be activated. I want to see if Adam Gase is going to utilize him effectively in this football game. If he is, utilized, if he is, cleared and ready to go and actually playing in this game, because Mims isn't. It looks like Mims is going to take another week to, see where he's at. So he's not going to be playing. But, if Le'Veon is out there, I need to see Le'Veon, be utilized. I need to see plays being ran to get the ball in Le'Veon's hands. I mean, it's tough to continue to talk about how we have this, all-world talent Le'Veon Bell, but we can't, find a way to get him the football. It's just completely ridiculous. And then you go to the wide receiver position. We know that Perryman's injured. He's looking doubtful, like he's not going to play. And Hogan is also dealing with the injury as well. So we're looking at guys like Crowder, Jeff Smith, some of these guys that kind of step up in the wide receiver position and see what we can get out of them too. So there's issues offensively. Defensively, you look at how we're matched up with the Cardinals, man. Listen, the Cardinals are coming out and they're serious business, all right? They got Hopkins. They got Larry Fitzgerald. They got a Christian Kirk as well. I mean, these guys get after it. Kenyon Drake is a guy that can come out the backfield, catch the football. He's got a set of hands on him. He's also a runner. You know what I'm saying? You can hand the ball off to him. He can take off and go. And again, Kyler Murray, being the type of quarterback that he is, very mobile guy, he can get after it too. So there's a lot of questions, man. There's a lot of questions going into this game. It's going to be a tough one for the Jets. But I'm gonna get to the callers for all of you that are watching. Whether you're watching me from listening to me through Blog Talk or whatever. I also live stream during the game as well. So we're gonna get to the callers first. But there's some guys in the chat too. My chat guys, we're definitely gonna come, to the chat as well because they like to get their 2 cents in. So I'm gonna go to the callers first though. 732-732. I'm coming to you. I want to get your thoughts about this game. You know what I'm saying, with the Jets and the Cardinals, and tell me how you feel.
Hey, Joe, what's up? This is Brandon J. I've been messaging you.
Yo, what's going on, Brandon? How you doing today?
Doing good. I've been following you since you've had like 200 subscribers. I'm glad I could finally call in. I've been busy, man.
Yeah, no. First off, I want to thank you, for watching my content and subscribing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to do my thing and get my content out there, but so thank you again for all your support as well. But, man, let's get into this Cardinals game because I want to talk to you. Again, I want to thank you for calling in. I'm going to start at the top, man. what are your thoughts about this situation, with the team as being as heavily penalized as they have? Do you think that stops this week?
The main thing I'm worried about is the cornerbacks, like you mentioned in your previous video. I'm worried that we're going to get a lot of interference calls, Pierre Desir with Hopkins or Fitzgerald. Either way, it looks like it's going to be a bad situation. Do you know if Bless Austin's going to be in the game, or is he out?
He's questionable. From what people are saying, he's kind of upticking that he will play. But even if he does, like you said as well, I'm concerned too, because we're wondering how much that injury is going to affect his play. Because again, and it was a great point that you brought up, was that, hey, these guys are coming in with serious business wide receivers. Like we talked about, Hopkins, the other wide receiver they have as well, Larry Fitzgerald, Kirk. These guys can get after it, man, especially, you trying to cover these guys, with our secondary having the issues that we've had, Pierre Desir being targeted. Of course, they're going to go after him. I mean, that would be any team's, first idea was, hey, we need to attack this guy who's trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to attack this guy that's trash, and we need to see what happens. So I see your point there, and I could see some penalties coming from there. But we also got to watch how we deal with Kyler Murray, too. And that's going to be my next question for you is, man, how concerned are you about the mobility of Kyler Murray and how he can extend plays? Because we've seen that burn us with other quarterbacks as well early that can move as well, right?
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray's going to be a pretty big threat on his feet too. I mean, I don't think we've had that many sacks so far this season, correct? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Even with Quinn and Wilson.
Yeah.
Never had that many. Again, I miss Jamal Adams. I'm sorry, we got a good compensation for him, but I have to be honest, he did help with the pressure. That's and his leadership too, but I feel like ever since he's gone, the pressure hasn't been the same. I never hear about Henry Anderson no more. McClendon's he's a good leader, but nothing statistically good about him either. And he's old.
Yeah.
I'm really honest. I don't know. We haven't had any sacks. Go on.
Yeah, it's understandable. It's understandable. I know a lot of people want to talk about Jamal Adams and things like that, and him, us missing him defensively. But I think it's just more about our defense not executing well, not making the tackles that need to be made. Because there were games when Jamal was playing. I remember that Miami game. I remember that Bengals game. There were games that we lost. He was out there, and he was there were some issues still defensively out there. But the big question for me in this game.
There's 2 or 3 games last year where that didn't affect anything.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And for me, you look at this situation in this game, and the first thing that I start thinking about as well when we talk about our offense kind of switching the mode away from the defense is you got Sam Darnold out, man. I mean, do you think that Joe Flacco is really going to step up and be able to carry the weight offensively here for us? And what are your expectations out of him?
I feel like he'll do a pretty good job, but I'm worried that he actually may get hurt. I'm being serious. He may get hurt. He's not fast. He's one of the only quarterbacks that doesn't have a decent mobility. So I'm worried that he might be discomforted or get an injury even. As far as his throwing accuracy, I respect him, man. I think he's actually one of our better backups in recent years, since McCown. So I am actually intrigued to see how he performs. I'm just praying he doesn't get hurt, and then we have to resort to James Morgan or anybody else.
Yeah. Look, I hear you there, man. I'm really looking to see how it happens because, everyone's making this call. Some people are kind of off the Sam train. Of course, there's a lot of people attacking Sam Darnold and trying to blame him for everything that's going on offensively. The various platforms. I'm not going to bring up, the names, but we've seen that. But with Joe Flacco in there, I just want to see if there's an adjustment in play calling. Can you see what the Cardinals are going to come out in and make the change? Once they adjust to you, can you make sure that you make the adjustment as well? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Gaze can do that, especially with the issues, that we have with some guys being out. He just doesn't adjust very well to things. And that leads me to my next concern. I want to get your thoughts on this is how concerned are you about Gaze getting out coached by Kingsbury?
I think it's possible. I mean, we look at obviously Adam Gase's track record and it hasn't proven to be good at all. I'm not a fan of him either, unfortunately. Ever since we hired him, I've been hoping that like he could prove us wrong because like he has like a pretty bad reputation. But yeah, he's like terrible at adjustments and stuff. Kingsbury has potential though. When we were hiring coaches, I was actually leaning towards him over some other ones. It was like him over McCarthy. But as far as him being outcoached, I think it is fairly possible. Again, he obviously has more weapons. And if I remember correctly, too, Adam Gase doesn't let the quarterback make audibles.
He doesn't let Sam audible.
That was ridiculous.
Oh, man.
That was ridiculous.
That's just,
Nice.
it's man. Oh, my goodness, man. So with all that said, man, again, I want to thank you for calling in. What is your final score for this Jets game against the Cardinals?
My final score prediction will probably have to be brutally honest. I'm going to say like 31-20, more or less. It's going to be over two scores. I don't think it's going to be below that, though. But like 31-20. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you win, but I think it's going to be like 31-20, more or less, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, man, I want to thank you for calling in, man. And listen, next time I stream, I want to hear from you.
Of course, yeah. I'll be back. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely, man. You have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Man, what a call. A lot of fans are on the fence. They're very skeptical. You look at this situation with the Jets right now, we're in quite a bit of trouble. This Cardinals team they get after it, and they attack. They absolutely attack, and they've got a lot of weapons offensively as well to put up points on us. So we've got to be very careful about the way that we play football against them. We cannot come out and be heavily penalized. You give 100 yards to the Cardinals, it's done. It's a done deal. You give 100 yards and penalties to the Cardinals, we're finished. But listen, now we're going to change the mode a little bit. We talk about the Jets, we talk about all these things, but we also talk about the fight against breast cancer as well. I'm involved in the Sushi Komen Foundation this year. I partner with them to bring the fight to breast cancer. Anyone that wants to donate to my fundraiser page is plastered across all of my social medias. And so we're going to have a person that's going to come on and talk to us about breast cancer and their interactions with it. Mr. Keith Rogers is going to come on and share his story with us about breast cancer and about his experiences with it. So we're going to have him on the show in just a second. Hello, Mr. Rogers. Welcome to the Long Beach Joe Show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Awesome. And again, thank you for calling in. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to talk about, just your experiences here. And so my first question for you is, can you tell us how it affected you to receive the news of your wife being diagnosed with?
My first reaction, I guess, was shock. I guess a little, just a little saddened, of course, because I know, as far as like what's it going to entail in terms of what she's going to have to go through to get her, to get her mind right, to do what she needs to do to get her health to where it needs to be. So initially I was shocked, but I was also, happy that, that we was able to get it, kind of catch her early.
Yeah, and that's extremely important, that early detection and catching it early. But what are some of the adjustments that you had to make as well to kind of help your wife, along through this process?
Well, I mean, I had to, take off from work, of course, because when she started, having treatment. Well, actually, I'm sorry, even before she started having treatments. I mean, when she was going to having doctor's appointments, and when the doctors were telling her all this going to entail in terms of having surgery and the rehab and all, chemo, all that of course I had to get some understanding from my job to let them know that I was going to have to take off time from work. But I'm very grateful for, where I worked at the time, that they were very understanding, and they took, anytime I needed, needed to take off, whether, take my wife to a doctor's appointment or go to the hospital, when she had surgery or anything that was related to as far as, chemo treatments, anything, they were very understanding. And that's what I needed at that time in terms of, making an adjustment as far as having to help my wife through this situation. But there was my job was very understanding. And to this day, I'm appreciative of that. So, I was wanted to be there, as far as just any appointment that she had or any doctor's appointments or anything. I just wanted to be there because I just wanted to show my, my support, and because she needed that. And I think that was very important that I be there.
Yeah, that is extremely important. But can you also kind of break down how important it is to have early detection as well, for people that are dealing with breast cancer?
Well, you just got to know your body. And I mean, if my thing is, she was feeling, something, on her breast that just wasn't right. And she, at first she didn't, she kind of like, she almost kind of brushed it off. But then at some point she said, you know what, I need to go get this checked out because it doesn't, it's not gelling what's going on in my body. So she went and checked it out, and sure enough, she found out that, that she had breast cancer. But again, the good thing is that she didn't tarry or didn't wait. As soon as she found out, she's like, okay, what do I need to do to get this taken care of? Whatever. It wasn't no hesitation. It wasn't no okay, I'll do it later. None of that. As soon as she found out, she said, okay, what do I need to do to get this get this out of my body, and and move on with my life or whatever.
Yeah. And again, everyone listening, we're speaking with Mr. Keith Rogers. He's a representative for the Susie G. Komen Foundation. He's come on and sharing his experiences with his wife dealing with breast cancer. And again, I want to thank you, Mr. Rogers, for coming on and sharing your experience with us. And can you explain how the Susie G. Komen Foundation impacts the community?
Well, I know they used to have research and have research, as far as like breast cancer research. And they also used to have walks where I would like to be, as far as like marathon walks and things of that order. So they would raise money for research for breast cancer or whatever. So I was very intrigued. I was very excited to be involved. Every time they used to have the little marathon walks, whatever, I was the first one to sign up and be involved in that because I thought it was very important. Again, I want to be supportive of that, not just for my wife, but for anybody else that's going through it as well. I want to be one of the ones that just want to just really stand behind that because, it impacts my wife, but also impacts everybody else. So I just want to be, a representative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. How can our listeners get involved with the Susie G. Komen Foundation? How can they donate?
You can go to SusieGKomen.com to donate. Website I think is very accessible for you to donate money, whatever, and you can make your contributions there. I believe at SusieGKomen.com.
Yes, absolutely. Now, before I let you go, Mr. Rogers, your wife also, she's a singer too. I've heard about her singing the national anthem. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's very exciting to hear about. Yeah, I do. My research is heavy now, Mr. Rogers. My research is heavy.
I see that. Very good. Yeah. By chance, I think that they had auditions, I guess, for the Chargers reached out to her because I think the owner of the Chargers, his wife, she's a breast cancer survivor as well. So I think she saw Tasha sing at some shows and other events or whatever, and they reached out to her to ask her if she would be interested in singing the national anthem. And of course, my wife's not going to turn down opportunity, something that's that's big, that's big for like that. And she's been doing it for 4 years running. So I of course I enjoy going with her and supporting her or whatever. So I definitely go, and she knocks it out the park every time. And they keep calling her back every year.
That's beautiful to hear. I'm so great she's out there doing her thing, and I'm congratulations to her because that is she she's dealt with the situation, came through it. She's a fighter, and now she's singing, and we're hearing her on our national anthem. I know we're going to hear her this year as well, even though people aren't necessarily allowed in the stadium, so various things is going on around the world. But she also had a little talk with her. She's going to have that recorded, so they're still going to hear her this year. So what a beautiful voice and a great story.
I'm very proud of her. She's a 6-year survivor, and she hasn't missed a beat. She's very, she dabbles in everything, and I can't keep up with her. So she's my shero.
That's what I'm talking about. So again, Mr. Rogers, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story, about your wife's breast cancer. And I want you to have a good night as well.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you having me on your show, and you have a good night as well, sir.
Okay, you have a good one. What a story. What a story from Mr. Rogers, who's able to call in. Again, everyone listening, no matter where you're listening to me from, I'm a big supporter of the Sushi Komen Foundation, big supporter of the fight against breast cancer. I have breast cancer in my family as well. So we're fighting. We're definitely going to bring the fight to it. I'll partner with the Sushi Komen Foundation this year. Again, my fundraiser link is plastered all across my social media pages. It's also all over all of my content as well. So if you can, please, donate if you can, no matter what it is that you give. No donation, big or small. Every single donation is appreciated. And again, we want to thank Mr. Rogers for coming on and, telling us his story, because it was extremely important to bring that, because this is something real that affects everybody. So again, I want to thank him for coming on. So now we're going to switch modes. We're going to go back into talking about this Jets team. Oh, boy. This Jets team is something else. Now, I'm going to get to the callers in a second, 917. When I get to the callers, I'm coming to you. But we're going to get to my chat guys, all right? Because my chat guys, they going crazy. You know what I'm saying? They're going crazy in the chat. So first, I'm going to go to the chat. Cliff Hopkins in the chat. Yo, salute to you, Cliff. Cliff says, Joe, most people want an unproven coach to replace Gaze, but I'd rather have someone who has developed talent before than someone who hasn't. You know what, Cliff? Listen, I'm right there with you. I look at the situation. I understand some people want, various, coordinators from college or whatever it is, but I'm a guy that wants to see somebody in the league that has kind of done it, because I'd like to get a coach in here that has worked with young quarterbacks before, because I think that for me, I think we should move forward with Sam Darnold. I don't think it's, in my mind, it's not rocket science. He's been put in a situation where he can't really succeed. He has no weapons. He has horrific coaching. And I don't think people really understand how big a part coaching really plays in the development of young quarterbacks. I really don't. And it's because I see it across my timeline where people just think that he has no protection. He has bad coaching. He has no weapons. He should be able to overcome all that. That's not how it works. Again, if we talk about quarterbacks, look at Ryan Tannehill. I think it's a great example of that. Here's a guy that was with Gaze that was horrible, so bad that the Dolphins looked at the situation. They said, oh, we got to trade this guy, right? They trade him. They get rid of him. He moves on. He goes to Tennessee, right, eventually. And Tennessee has the right coaching in place. Tennessee has guys that said, hey, we see something in this guy. Let's coach him up a little bit. And now he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. They've actually given him a deal to make him their franchise quarterback. I mean, look at the difference a day makes. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have the right guys in place, and if you don't, there's going to be issues. So for me, I'm looking at people that are coaches. DeBoll, he's a guy that I like as well. Eric B. in KC, everyone knows that I like him. I also like, Greg Roman too, with the Ravens. If you look at all of those, coordinators, they have been able to put things around a young QB, Lamar, Mahomes, Allen, and they've been able to, be able to coach them up, find ways to utilize whatever their skill sets are, and have them go out there and produce. And I think that's a big part of it, because again, I know people are streaming for Trevor, but if you want this team to get better faster, the actual answer would be to stick with Sam Darnold. And even if you think that Sam Darnold is a marginal talent, let's say he's a guy that, isn't necessarily, in your mind, if he's a guy that isn't necessarily just going to blow you out the water, but he isn't going to lose you games, right? But he isn't going to blow you out the water. Well, you can win with that if you surround that with talent. Again, I keep telling everybody constantly, the best offense that we have ever had was quarterbacked by Ryan Fitzpatrick. And the reason why I keep saying that is because Ryan Fitzpatrick was garbage. He was a garbage-ass quarterback. That's not like news to anybody that watched, that second season outside of that first magical season that he had, where we faced a bunch of soft opponents. We had a very soft schedule. We played a lot of teams that had a lot of big injuries, and he was able to, make some moves off that. But that second year, when we played teams that were serious business and, he just wasn't good. Like, it wasn't happening. But if you look at the situation, we surrounded him with weapons to be successful. He had Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. Our running game was solid. Our offensive line was solid enough to not get him killed every week. So if you can have a guy like that set franchise records statistically for our franchise, right? This is all of franchise records. He owns them offensively, right? Then can you tell me that you don't think that Sam could do those exact same thing when he's galaxies more talented than Ryan Fitzpatrick? That's insane. That's insane. We've got to do more, and I think it's better. And again, we also gave up capital to get Sam Darnold as well. We got to think about that. You can't burn all that capital. You got to do whatever you can. So to me, in my mind, if I have that top pick, I'm not drafting Trevor Lawrence. I'm trading down. I'm getting a king's ransom for that pick, and I'm moving down, and I'm bettering my football team across the board. Wide receiver, offensive lineman. I'm trying my best to absolutely collect as much talent as I can to build this football team and make it better. That's just my opinion. But we're definitely going to be talking about that tonight. You know what I'm saying? I know people are extremely excited. I'm going to keep on going with the chat, though. Venom G's in the chat says, salute to you, Venom G's. Venom G says, the Cardinals defense is going to stop our offense, and the Cardinals offense is going to do what they want with our defense. Listen, Venom, I hear a lot of people saying the exact same thing. I hear a lot of people saying, listen, we do not match up well defensively with this Cardinals offense. And, defensively, they're going to be able to get after it, especially if Becton is, out again with that shoulder, which he shouldn't be playing with that shoulder. So we're going to see what happens. But I'm going to go back to these callers. My chat boys, please keep chatting. Again, I want to thank everybody in the chat that shares their thoughts and ideas. So we're going to get back to the callers really quickly. 917, I'm coming to you. Give me your thoughts about this upcoming game against the Cardinals.
Joe, what's going on, man? It's Elias from Rochester. How you doing?
Yo, what's going on, Elias? How are you doing today, man? I want to get your thoughts on this Jets game, bro. Sam Darnold out, Flacco in. What are your expectations of Flacco?
It's going to be the most unwatchable game of the year, and that's saying something.
Damn.
But is there anything to look forward to? It's 35-year-old quarterback handing it off. A 35-year-old quarterback's going to hand the ball off 50 times to a 37-year-old running back. And that's with Bell coming back. But Gase loves his boy Gore so much, so,
Yeah. That's a fact. Oh man, you're coming on the line with the positivity, but you're real.
Sorry,
you know what I'm saying? I love it.
It's gonna.
Listen.
It's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, and I respect your take, man. And again, I want to thank you for calling in. I hear you. I know a lot of people are looking at this situation. Of course, Sam's out because of that, that AC issue in his shoulder, which I'm actually kind of glad they're sitting him out, not allowing him to play because we saw what happened, with the Becton situation. But look, I know a lot of people that are looking at. Yeah. That was the same thing there. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what really annoyed me too is I saw McClendon and Williams got fined for their roughing the passer. I'm surprised that dude who sacked him, that wasn't roughing the passer, and he didn't get fined or something. But regardless of that, I don't think you should have played him. Especially they brought him in on 3rd and 5, which is clearly a passing situation with Balazs and saying 5 feet from now, blocking back there. Also, another dude who got released, your boy Alec Ogletree, he's gone, man.
Oh, yeah, we were going to talk about him later on, but dude, I am so glad his ass is out of here. Alec Ogletree was trash. I have no clue what they were thinking. It was just so bad. But let's get back to this game because Alec Ogletree and Balazs, those guys are gone. I'm glad they're gone because they were absolutely hurting the football team. But I want to get your thoughts about this situation. Without Becton, what are your expectations of this offensive line? I mean, do you think they just get mauled and we get dominated up front?
So Adoga's not playing either, right? It's going to be McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking McDermott is definitely going to play.
Yeah, so he's probably going to go up against Chandler Jones, so that's going to be a disaster. Because they're not going to play him; they're all just going to play him against the weak link. So that's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
And,
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, if McDermott is on that left side with, Adam Gase not being able to adjust, Chandler Jones is going to just have a feast over there. Because we saw those same issues. Once Becton went out, we saw these guys just absolutely get after it. Denver just turned up. Chubb turned up.
Oh, yeah.
Before, Becton was out, Chubb wasn't doing too much. But after that, boy, did he turn up, man. And it was absolutely crazy. But I want to get your thoughts on this wide receiver position, too, especially with Perryman looking like he's going to be out. What are your expectations of Crowder? How many catches do you think he gets in this game?
Hopefully a good amount, I'd say. I think it's going to be just like more of the same. The wide receiver talent isn't any good, but he had a good game last week. But I don't know how much Flacco's playing style really tailors to him. I know he's more of like a big arm, go deep kind of guy, which we don't have anyone who can do that. So I don't know how that's going to work. So Crowder's probably going to be decent. Who else is playing? Is Hogan's out, or he's questionable? I think
Hogan's he's questionable. So it's going to be Jeff Smith is going to be out there. Barrios is going to be out there as well. So I think Jeff Smith has looked pretty decent. He's been able to make some catches and move some things. So I'm excited about him. But we're still hurting. We're still hurting there, wide receiver.
Yeah, so is Barrios playing on the outside? Like, isn't he kind of just an only slot guy because he's a smaller dude? Like, how is that going to work out? He's going to have to go against, like, Patrick Peterson or who's the other guy they got? I'm blanking out right now. But, yeah, I think this offense, just considering the injuries and considering no quarterback play, I think it's going to be really bad. And their defense isn't even that good. It's just because this offense is so bad. And our Jets defense is going to look horrible tomorrow. They couldn't stop Josh Allen running. I think Kyler Murray's a better runner. And you got, anyone playing fantasy football, give up whatever you have for DeAndre Hopkins. That dude, he's going to go up against Desir. He's going up against Desir. He couldn't stop some undrafted cats on the Broncos. Give up like 5 running backs for him. He's going to put up so many. And I called him last time. I got Kyler Murray on my fantasy team. So that's the one win I'm looking forward to. But, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, look, I hear you. And, like you said, you look at the situation where you got Barrios probably going up against Byron Murphy, I think is the other guy on the other side, of Peterson. And, it just kind of is what it is. You got to play the guys that you have out there. We don't have enough wide receiver talent, which, we talked about that going into the offseason as well, but it's still an issue. So, but I got to keep it rolling, man. I got quite a bit of callers. So let me get your thoughts on this. What is your final score prediction for this game against the Cardinals?
All right, Jets fans, I'm not being negative. I'm just being honest. I'm thinking 45-10. It's going to get ugly.
Oh, my God.
I hope I'm wrong, but, hey, what I hope, we lose this really badly, we get the number 1 pick, and then the season gets canceled.
Wow. Well, we keep looking the way we look. So. Yeah. We keep looking the way we look, and playing the way we play. We won't need any help from anybody or anything. We'll definitely, get that top pick all by ourselves. But I want to thank you for calling in, man. Hey, next time I come on, I definitely need to hear from you. Thank you again, man.
Oh, 100%, man. I appreciate it.
All right. You have a good night.
All right. Good night, man.
Oh, man. Elias coming on with the fire, okay? He's coming on with the fire, and he's letting it be known. I'm going to keep on, cranking it out. So I'm going to come back to the callers, 848-347 and 984. You'll be coming up when I come back. But I'm going to get to the chat boys. My chat boys are going off. Rudy in the chat says, I hope the car crash we're going to witness tomorrow will wake Jets fans that Sam isn't the problem. He isn't perfect by any means, but Flacco is going to be awful. And he's with this dumpster juice. Oh man. The chat is going off. Rudy in the chat also says, and I know you haven't been impressed with McDougal, but I think he's on the same side as Desir, who's getting cooked every play. So you have to help him, which leaves him vulnerable. Rudy, there's been some games where I've looked at McDougal and I said, he played decently. but there's just some plays that he makes during the game that are just absolutely embarrassing. That game against the Colts, when he allowed that running back to just get in, he's one-on-one with him, and he can't make the play. He goes, just dives nose first into the dirt. Man, that just blew my mind. Simply Awesome in the chat. Yo, salute to you, Simply Awesome. Simply Awesome says, if the Jets are scoreless or perform worse than expected, Gaze's job will be in trouble. You know what's crazy, Simply? We've been saying that all year about Gaze. We've been saying all year that his job should be in trouble. All year. I mean, after that Niners loss, we were saying, oh, yeah, this guy should definitely be fired. After this Colts loss, everybody's saying, oh, yeah, this guy should definitely be fired. After that last loss to the Broncos, people were screaming, this guy should be fired. He just, he's like the roach that just never dies. You can't kill this man. He survives it all. Nuclear blast, everything. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be around. He's that bug you just can't squash, It's crazy. But I'm going to get back to the callers. Salute to my chat guys. Please keep chatting. I'll keep coming back to you. 848, I want to get your thoughts on this game against the Cardinals. How are you feeling about it going into it as a Jets fan?
Oh, man. Mr. Joe, it's Shaq, baby. You know I'm coming
going
with
on,
the heat.
Shaq?
You know I'm coming with the heat. Where do I start? Man, the defense is bad. Sam is set up for failure.
I'm gonna let you.
Please, Joe, remind me not to curse. Please say it for me, please, so I can remember.
Please
this.
do not. Hey, and everybody, listen. I understand that this team is frustrating. Okay, I laugh a lot because it keeps me from crying. All right, I understand people are upset about the state of the team. Do not call into my show cursing. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get you out of here. You drop a couple bombs, you gotta go. I'll just get rid of you. I don't want to do that to anybody because I know we all suffering together. But please do not curse on my show. Go ahead, Shaq.
All right, there we go. Good. Okay. All right. Now, because this is frustrating. Starting from, okay, we got rid of Balaj, we got rid of Alec Ogletree, some positive news. And then you would think, hey, it's a little thin at wide receiver. Let's sign another running back. Yeah, let's do that. Let's sign another running back to only use one running back. And he's older than everybody that we speak to and everybody in the chat. And another thing, those savages, man, your chat is the funniest chat I've ever seen in my life. When I was watching that Broncos game, they kept me from getting angry because they were so funny. I was in here in tears laughing at the chat. Laughing,
the savages,
like watching guys.
The savages. That's what I call them the savages.
Nose.
I'm telling you.
They were talking about Sam Ficken's nose. Just how Brandon Mann was a better tackler than everybody on the defense. I was just over here crying, laughing, man. Everything they were saying was so true though. It's like. We're bad offensively. We're bad defensively. We need playmakers. We're not going for playmakers. At least attempt to go for a playmaker. Because, Sam looks like he's just, he's not confident, man. He don't trust his weapons. It's almost like he don't trust his weapons. And, yes, I can't give Sam a pass. I can't give him a pass, but I gotta give him some heat, because he do miss some reads. I got to give him some of that heat. But I feel like the reason he missed those reads is because due to he don't trust what's in front of him. Literally O-line, receivers, he throwing wheel routes to a 37-year-old running back, and then you got Adam Gase in his ear, and I feel like Adam Gase just tortures him. And I just get that feeling because, Sam is a nice guy, so he going to, he'll let anybody, get on him, and Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. Well, I wouldn't say Tom Brady, but Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning, those guys know the game, and they've been around, so they didn't let Adam Gase. Peyton Manning didn't let Adam Gase do that, and Aaron Rodgers wouldn't let Adam Gase do that. So it's the defense is horrendous. The only time we get good rushes is when we hitting them late. Like, that's why we get late hits, because they're late. They're late. They're trash. Like that's why. Like, Desir shouldn't even. What's crazy? I had that signing as a question mark. I had that signing as a question mark.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I trust the rest of our corners. Like Lamar Jackson, the other night, he had a blown coverage because that was his first game. You know, that was his first game. He just getting off practice squad. You know, he don't understand that simplistic defense. You know, like with no pass rush. You know, like, and we got 100 yards of total 100 yards in penalties. You serious? And then Joe, remember what I told you? I'm telling you, Joe, you should listen to me. I'm telling you, it would not surprise me if Adam Gase is here. I'm telling you, because he was supposed to be gone after that Denver game. He was gone. He was supposed to be gone. He was supposed to be out of there. There's no way in the world you can tell me that a coach is supposed to stay there. And Bill O'Brien got fired, but he didn't. Like, it's no way. It's no way. I feel like they're going to use Sam as a scapegoat, and
oh my God,
that's going to be our downfall. We're going to sit there, waste our pick on another quarterback, and not
you
build
think
around
that?
the
Wait, Shaq.
holes.
I want to make this. Hold on a second, Shaq. I want to make this very clear for everybody listening. You think that Gase gets another year here and he gets to pick another quarterback?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me.
Oh my God, Shaq, please. Please don't.
Do you think the Jets, anything the Jets do surprise you? We hired him in the first place. No. Did anybody think Adam Gase was going to be here? No. Do you think Christopher Johnson was going to come out that press conference and say, "Oh, we got offensive genius here"? You know, like, did you really think he was going to do that? No. Like, it wouldn't surprise me this team do something stupid. And then Joe Douglas is not like Adam Gase is terrible, but he's not the only problem. Joe Douglas is part of that problem as well. I'm afraid he's going to go into the draft and grab 3 quarterbacks the way he grabbed in the 4th round when we needed a receiver. Like, I'm afraid. I don't think he's going to trade. Like the smart thing to do is to trade back, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Listen, Shaq,
we're going to get to the Cardinals game. I'm sorry.
We got to stick with the Cardinals game, but I hear you. You know, listen, I understand your takes. I am praying that Gase does not get another year. I am praying that he does. I'm hoping if they don't fire him during the season, which, dude, it's been bad. Like, if you look at these losses that we have, they have been really bad, but he has yet to get canned. So I'm thinking that they won't fire him in season no matter how bad it gets, because I don't want to say how much worse could it be, because you know, as a Jets fan, it could always be worse.
Always be bad.
It could always be worse. So I don't want to say that, but I will say I think I pray that they can him after the season and move on and find a real offensive mind. But I want to get back to this game really quickly with you.
I'm sorry, Joe.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Give me your thoughts. I understand this is all about, Jet fans calling in venting. I understand, and I'm here, to listen to everybody's takes and go through it with you, because I'm here, crying as well, trying to wear my green. But you look at this situation offensively, we talked about the weapons, the lack of weapons, particularly a wide receiver, but we got a tight end in Herndon that's out here. And if you look at the snaps and you look at the stats, this dude's blocking a lot. He's not being utilized as a pass catcher as much as he should be. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that changes in this game?
Chris, I think because he's blocking a lot, like, I'm not giving Chris Herndon a pass because I always clown him and say he's strong, but because usually you got to get in rhythm, and if you're blocking 80% of the game, it's no excuse. But I'm like, maybe that's what's going on in his mind. He barely touches the ball, he barely runs routes, and sometimes you got to get hot, and he probably needs to get hot, and since he's blocking 80% of the game, when he has the time to catch the ball, he don't catch it because he's not in rhythm. He's catching the ball about a 4th quarter. You know what I'm saying? If you notice those drops, it's all he dropped his touchdown at the end of the 3rd, and then he fumbled in the early 4th, and then he dropped another pass last game in the 4th. Like, like you can't. He probably is a rhythm guy. I don't know, but it's like the Cardinals is going to destroy us. Like, let's be real. It's a lot of revenge that they want. Like the coach was supposed to come here, and then Kenyon Drake, because he got traded with Adam Gase. So like, then they got Kelvin Beachum over there. Like, this is a revenge game to them. They're gonna put up. They're gonna destroy us. They're gonna destroy us.
How concerned? You talked a little bit about their offense. How concerned are you with the matchup of Desir on Hopkins or even Desir on Larry Fitzgerald? How worried about that matchup with their wide receivers are you? How worried are you about that?
Joe almost hung up. That's how bad it is. I don't want to talk about that. I don't think he should be on the field, honestly. If you want me to be honest, but we got to deal with it. So I'm gonna tell you anyway. D-Hop is gonna have about 10 catches. Larry he's gonna look like his young self playing against him. Like I feel like he got his interceptions because of a young quarterback. It was a young quarterback, just going through the motions. And he felt good attacking him all game because he knew he was a bum. Like, Kyler Murray is going to run circles around our team. The linebackers.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm concerned with as well. Yeah, I'm concerned with that as well. I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm more concerned about Kyler. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm more concerned about the Kyler Murray, his ability, to get mobile and get ghosted, because I don't think we have anyone that could chase that guy down. I really don't. I'm really concerned about him breaking the pocket, breaking containment. We don't have a pass rusher. So I'm trying to figure out how exactly we get a pass rush on him, Shaq. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, man?
It's like, then we don't even blitz. Like, we don't blitz at all. We just sit
like we go get cooked.
Like, we got the we're
gonna get cooked, Shaq. How you go blitz? You can't cover nobody.
I know, Joe, but I'd rather if you think about it, I'd rather have that than, have the quarterback sitting back there like a statue throwing perfect passes. They get 10 yards of separation anyway when we don't send pressure. So it's like, what's the point? You might as well. Like, Phillip Rivers should have – I feel like we should have blitzed him. We should have blitzed the one-legged quarterback. Couldn't even do that.
Dude.
Like, take chances. We give up yards all game. It should be no excuse. Brett Rippon almost had 300 yards. Did he have 300 yards that game? I don't even know. I don't care. I just know he was destroying us.
Yeah.
Like,
it was crazy.
We don't have no fire, man. We don't have no fire.
We don't have enough. Look, give me your. We don't have enough fire, man. We don't. We really don't. And that's sad, because again, I think we're going into another off season pretty much asking mostly the same question and having the same concerns that we did last off season. A lot of the same stuff. We're still wondering, hey, when are we going to get a corner? When are we going to get a pass rusher? How are we going to address our wide receiver position? And this offensive line, we still got to do some work on it. We're still asking
God
questions. Remember what I told you about all this? Hey, looking, I was trying to tell people, but it is what it is. But let me get your thoughts on this, Shaq. Give me your final score prediction for this game against the Cardinals, man.
I'm saying what the last caller said, man. I don't even know where we're going to get 10 points from. Where we getting 10 points from?
Oh my goodness! Well, Shaq is taking the Cardinals 45-0. Huh? Is that what it is? 45-0.
No, 45-3. We're going to kick a field goal at the end of the game when we're down.
Oh my God. Classic Adam Gase. All right, Shaq. You have a good night, man. I want to thank you for calling in. Oh my goodness,
Joe, man. Be safe, man.
Peace, man. Oh, Shaq calling in with the fire, man. He called in with the fire. You know, a lot of Jets fans are extremely upset with the state of the football team right now. I get it. You know, this is a platform where I want to welcome every single Jet fan on. Hell, even people that aren't Jets fans, I have to hit me up and tell me how garbage they think Adam Gase is, how we're ruining Sam Darnold. I've had fans hit me up from other teams, you know, on various platforms that my content is on, and tell me that they cannot wait for the Jets to release Sam Darnold or trade him to their teams so that they could be successful with him because we're idiots. I've literally had people tell me that this franchise is ruining Sam Darnold and they want better for him, so they want him to get the hell away from the Jets franchise. These are fans of other teams. This is not Jets fans. These are fans of other teams that have hit me up. It is insane. I'm going to get to the chat really quickly. Again, if this is your first time listening to me, you know, I live stream during my radio shows. So, you know, my chat guys, we call them the savages, you know what I'm saying? Because they savage. They get after it, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to go talk to the savages real quick, and then I'm going to get back to the lines. When I come back to the line, 347-984, I will be coming to you. We'll be talking about the game. But in the chat, Venom G's, yo, salute to you again, Venom G's. Venom G says they need to throw Gay's ass out the building like Jazzy Jeff. For those of you that may not get that reference, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, Will's dad, Uncle Phil, used to throw Jazzy Jeff out that front door like nobody's business every single time, man. It was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Venom G's. Dark in the chat, yo, salute to you, Dark. Dark says the Jets are running a seniors football team with the QB and running back. Oh, my goodness. Listen. The chat is going off, man. The chat is going off right now. So I'm going to get back to these callers, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep talking about this Jets-Cardinals game and what you folks think of it. So 347, I'm coming to you. Let me know what your thoughts about this Jets game that's coming up with these Cardinals. 347 is your time. Let me know what are your thoughts about this Jets game. Hello, 347. All right. Hey, man, you got a lot of fans that are upset. You know what I'm saying? I understand it. I get it. You know what I mean? A lot of people are upset about this team. He probably just threw his phone off a bridge. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn. It's just justice. I'm tired. You know, a lot of people are tired. You know, they're tired of losing. They're tired of the team looking this way. With Darnold out, they don't want to see Flacco either. You know what I'm saying? This season hasn't turned out to be what a lot of people think it should be. You know what I mean? And it's tough. You know what I'm saying? You got fans throwing their phones. They're calling in. They're losing their minds just listening. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So we're going to go to 984. 984, I'm coming to you. Let me know what your thoughts are about this Jets game, you know, upcoming with the Cardinals.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
What's going on?
Well, our prospects don't look very good without Sam Darnold and all the names that we have out of this game. No Perriman, no Mims. I'm not sure about Le'Veon Bell. I don't know what his status is, and he doesn't look very good.
Yeah. Well, again, I want to thank you for calling in. Le'Veon is looking like it's looking like he will play. From, you know, the report said that he's been cleared, so it's looking like he will. It's definitely trending towards he will play, but, you know, we'll definitely see come game time. But that's going to be my first question for you is, even if he does play, do you think Adam Gase will utilize him effectively?
No, based on his history and the man's overinflated ego and arrogance. No. Yeah. I doubt it, sadly. And we wasted not only Darnold, we wasted Le'Veon Bell. The way it looks like to me on Adam Gase, we wasted a lot of talent here. And I don't see how ownership can seriously sell us on bringing Adam Gase back here for 2021. They're not going to be able to sell that. You're not going to turn around a fan base that's already, like myself, pissed off with the ownership. You get rid of Sam Darnold and you bring Gase back here, that to me could be the last straw for me. They cannot bring Gase back there and get rid of Darnold. No. The fans aren't going to go for it. I'm one of them. There's a whole lot of fans that are going to really be mad if they get rid of Darnold. And then we don't know if we do get the first pick. We don't know whether Le'Veon or Trevor Lawrence, what his status is, whether he's going to want to play for us or not. There's so many unanswered questions. Right now, even though it is a little premature and early, about this time because it's bleak. The only thing I try to look forward to is the 2021 draft. Try to project what all the possible scenarios will be for this team if we get the top pick. And let's say they decide to trade that pick, and, that's the only thing I have to really go on to try to build on and try to get some kind of hope or optimism for the future,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look,
so I'm taking
a look.
I'm taking a look at Lawrence. I'm taking a look at Justin Fields, and I'm taking a look at Trey Lance. As far as what the possible scenarios are, who the new head coach is, because you get a new head coach, he may sadly want his own people. You know how that is. When you get a new front office comes in, or if you ever worked on a job when the new administrator, new managers, and all that stuff. I've been working. I work at the airport. We had new people come in, and they usually bring some of their own people, crew leads, assistant managers, and so forth. That's how that is, and I think that might be what's brewing ahead for the Jets if they do get a new head coach. He may want his own quarterback, and if he wants his own quarterback, what are our options? If we don't have the top pick, I'll be playing around in my head with a lot of scenarios. If we get the second pick, I'm thinking Justin Fields. If they do decide to go their own option, they may go Justin Fields. Or if we trade down, it's possible that we could trade down and still get one of the top-tier quarterbacks. Trey Lance looks like he's really good. So,
but
it's just food for thought.
Here's the thing, and again, you're bringing a lot of takes to the thing, and we're definitely going to talk about this Jets-Cardinals game. But something that you just opened up with your take is, for me, I understand, the prospect of bringing in a quarterback and him wanting his own or bringing in a head coach that wants his own quarterback. I get that. I completely understand that, and that is a very solid take. But for me, I think any head coaching prospect that we have, any head coaching prospect that we're looking to come in here, when you look at the capital we've given up to get Sam Darnold, when you look at the situation that we put him in to not be successful at all, shouldn't any coaching candidate that we bring in here be willing and ready to work with Sam Darnold? Shouldn't that be, for me, that would be my, underlining thing where, hey, if you're coming here and you want to be here, you want to work with Sam Darnold. I mean, shouldn't that kind of be the underlying thing for a Jets franchise?
It should. If it was me, don't get me wrong, I've liked Sam Darnold from the start. Now, I have to admit, when we initially drafted Sam Darnold, I hadn't researched him. I should be ashamed of myself. I did more research on Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen. I did a little bit more on them. Now, Darnold, I remember picking up, I think it was like a Pro Football Weekly a year prior to his draft. And I remember, it was like a little article, projection to the future, and the name Sam Darnold came up as a top pick. You know how they do the crystal ball in those books, and they'll show you the year ahead, possible draft scenario, who could be the top prospect coming. And they said Sam Darnold. And at the time, they kind of over my head. I didn't know who he was, but they said he was really, really good in college. I said, I filed it away. I said, okay, Sam Darnold. And then when the draft came, his name was further down. You didn't hear him mention him. Only thing you heard was Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, and then you heard a little talk about Josh Allen. Some people were scared of Josh Allen, because the Hackenberg fiasco and what went on with that. They didn't want to take Josh Allen. They were scared. I was scared to death of us taking Josh Allen too, because I saw a guy with tremendous upside, prototypical physical tools, but I knew he would have needed a little work and development. I'm not sure what the current status of the organization, and we could have really developed him like Buffalo. I got to give credit to the Buffalo Bills. When the Jets are not on, I have to admit, I'm taking a look at the Buffalo Bills because I want somebody to bump the Patriots off. So,
Look, I hear you there. I know a lot of people, if you go back and listen to any of my content around the time, to me, Sam wasn't even a consideration because I did not think that the Browns were going to pass on him. I just didn't. I thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even for us to trade up. Right. I remember I remember talking about it. I was like, well, Sam Darnold's not going to be there, so why,
That's
right. And I thought if we did trade up, we were going to have to give up quite a bit of compensation. We did end up giving up 3 second-round picks, but I thought we'd at least have to give up a first-round pick.
But, I was so curious about the Giants. The Giants are using an organization that would take a Sam Darnold. He's a solid young man, good name, good reputation. That sounds like more of a Giant. Sam Darnold. Yeah. And when the Giants passed on him and they announced the pick and it was Saquon Barkley, I was like, oh my God, they took Saquon Barkley. So Sam Darnold's going to fall. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was stunned.
It was insane.
I was stunned too. When the Jets traded from 16 to 6 to get Sanchez at the time. I was stunned. I was like, whoa. Yeah. They passed on Sam crazy. Darnold. Wow.
It was insane. Yeah, it was completely insane.
If it was up to me, I would keep Sam Darnold because I think he has enough going for him to take us forward. If we could win 10 or 11 games with Mark Sanchez, we should be able to win at least that many, maybe one more with Sam Darnold. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think we'd be better off.
Yeah, I think the exact same. Well, the thing is that I talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, is that if you look at this situation, you can if a marginal, which to me, and I even though I'm a USC guy, said, hey, I thought that Mark Sanchez was a marginally talented quarterback. He wasn't a guy that was gonna. I mean, he would kill you with the interceptions, but he wasn't a guy that was gonna make a ton of people better. You know what I mean? But look at what we did with him. Yeah. We surrounded him with weapons, right? Yeah. We gave a very solid running game. He had a very, the wide receiver position was there was guys there, weapons that he could get into.
That's
we
right.
Two AFC championships with him. Two.
But it appeared at the time when we acquired Sanchez, the stars were aligned. We had a solid organization. Yeah. We had done a lot of work under Eric Mangini quietly when he was making all them draft picks at the time. Nobody was thinking too much of that with Revis and all of them. Little did we know, 2009, the team was ready to make a run. We caught a break the last game. The Colts rested their starters, and we managed to get that win. And then we went on, the fairy tale ride that year and backed it up the year after. We made the big trade for Cromartie and Santonio Holmes. Yep. Proving that it wasn't a fluke, that we were a serious organization at the time,
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing about that time as well is we had a coach that was great. Like Rex Ryan, I mean, he wasn't a great offensive mind, of course. He didn't give a damn about the offense. But defensively, he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable.
Hey, looking at this fool, Adam Gase, he makes Rex Ryan look like Bill Parcells. That's what Rex Ryan looks like. You look back at him in the studio, he looks like a young Bill Parcells compared to Adam Gase. Adam Gase, a piece of garbage. That thing, the kid in class that always think that there's something more than that and nobody else sees it, but somehow they see more in themselves than everybody in their class. That's Adam Gase. He's the moron, that sees himself as a genius. Nobody's proclaiming. I remember my grandmother used to say to me, you let people tell you, and I've had people tell me certain qualities in me that I had. Let people tell you your greatness. You know what I'm saying? You never, boast on yourself and stuff like that. But there are a few rare exceptions that can back it up. Reggie Jackson, Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Those are rare cases. Adam Gase, I don't know where he got this idea, but what it was because he worked with Manning. It was pure. What's the word for it? There's a word for it. It was who he knew. It wasn't what he knew. And because he worked with Peyton Manning, nepotism, yeah. And because he worked with Peyton, that really helped to open the doors. And who knows, from what I heard, a phone call was made by Peyton Manning to Jets ownership and recommended Adam Gase. I don't know what you heard on your end, but that's what I heard through the grapevine.
Well,
about the
That's pretty much that's pretty much what was said. But getting back into this Cardinals game, because I want to talk to you about this Cardinals game as well. We're talking about a lot, but I want let's go to the defense, because you talked about Rex and the defense in the past. I want to talk about the defense. Coming up against the Cardinals game, we know that they've been heavily penalized. But how concerned are you with the matchup? Hopkins on Desir or Larry Fitzgerald on Desir. How concerned are you with the weapons they have coming out against our secondary that has really shown that there's big holes in it?
It's leaky at best. We were counting on initially before the trade rumors with Jamal Adams. We were counting on him and Ashton Davis. We had the visions of a 3 safety package that would have been very unique. You know, where we can spy either with Ashton Davis with his speed, or we could spy with Jamal, or we can, interchangeable pieces. We could drop guys back, and maybe to have done like an Ashton Davis help out in some of the coverages. But now that Ashton Davis has been injured, that screwed up his rookie year. Jamal Adams has been traded, so the only piece we have left that's viable is Marcus May, and Marcus May just isn't good enough. I like Marcus May, but he can't do it by himself now. He just doesn't have the surrounding cast in the secondary to help him, so he gets exposed because he doesn't have the Jamal Adams who ran for years with him to help him, and he don't have Ashton Davis. His rookie year got screwed up. It's like Denzel Mims with injury. It really screwed up their rookie campaigns,
Yeah. How do you think that we can manufacture a pass rush against the Cardinals? Do you want to see this Jets defense blitzing a bit, or are you expecting Quentin Williams to really step up? I mean, what do you want to see? How are we going to get to Kyler Murray?
Looking at the state of the secondary, if you sit back, you could get picked apart because the Jets just don't rush the pass. They haven't really rushed the passer probably since John Abraham. They don't rush the passer at all. Even on the Rex Ryan, Rex Ryan had to load to one side or the other, run crazy exotic blitzes where you didn't know where the rush was coming from. He was schooled well by his daddy, Buddy Ryan. So a lot of the stuff he ran, even though we didn't have the greatest personnel, that's what really got us over. And he had Revis to lock one side of the field down. We don't have a Revis. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a Deion Sanders. We don't have a Lester Hayes to lock one side. Then we can rotate the coverage to the other side and double over and maybe try to tighten that up a little bit. I'm really concerned. The linebacking core is all messed up with injuries. No Blake Cashman, no Avery Williamson, C.J. Mosley opted out. It's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. This is a shell of the team that I envision. The team that I envision could actually win 8 games, 9 games. I thought if everything lined up for us, and Darnold can take that next step, I saw 8-8, 9-7 as a real possibility. Was I just imagining things, or just being overly optimistic? Yeah.
I mean, it makes you ask yourself those questions. I mean, I looked at the team before, going into the season. I saw a lot of holes. I was very concerned about our offensive line. I was very concerned about our offense. Period. I was very concerned about our offense. As far as the state
of the offensive line, I thought that the offensive line was functional. I thought going in it was functional enough that we could do some things that we just couldn't come anywhere near doing last year. Don't get me wrong. Is it a 2009, 2010? No. Is it the line that Ken O'Brien played with in 85, 86? No. Is it the line Richard Todd played with Joe Fields and Dan Alexander, Marvin Powell? No. But it's a functional line. Now, when I say functional, I mean, you're not going to see a whole bunch of snaps by the center over the quarterback's head, that kind of thing. You're not going to see protection just constantly breaking down. You'll see moments where, the pass rush might get there, and then there may be some snaps where he can set himself and get in a rhythm,
Yeah. I look at this line, and I see Greg Van Roten, who's horrific. That guy's bad. He's been very bad this year. And if you look at a lot of the issues that we have, it's him just getting blown up. There's a lot of pressure, coming in. I mean, you watch that Denver game. That's all you need to see. Yeah. Especially with Becton being out, that shoulder injury. We just continue to get
that really hurts.
There. So
losing Becton when Becton was having such a promising rookie campaign, it's just like taking a balloon, just stick a pin or stick something in it, slow leak it. The air just leaking right out, man. It's just deflating for me. I was so excited, seeing us have our own cornerstone left tackle, which we haven't had since DeBrickashaw Ferguson. And once he announced his retirement, I was wondering when we would ever find another tackle the caliber of a DeBrickashaw Ferguson, who played 10 years, never missed a game, rock solid. You never heard his name called, nothing. Unheard of. He didn't dominate his position, no, but he was like just a rock of stability and consistency and reliability, just the way David Harris was. David Harris didn't dominate his position, but he was just steady. You could depend on him game after game. You never hear his name called. You never hear him associated with anything negative, nothing, just steady. Sometimes you don't need superstars all the time. You just need people you can depend on. Lavernius Coles, you need guys that are solid. They don't dominate their position, but they're just steady. You can depend on them,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, we're gonna see what happens because there's a lot of issues on this team.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell you that
especially with
it looks official.
Mims not playing still. When is he ever going to get on the field at this point? I mean, man.
I've never heard of a player this being out this long with a hamstring unless it's more to that borderline tear of the hamstring more than just a pull. It sounds like to me it's got to be more than a pull that he almost tore his hamstring. Is that bad for him to be out this long?
Look at hold on. Just C.J. Mosley had that issue last year, remember? Like, he literally played in the first game, and something happened with his hamstring, and he didn't play. I mean, he played like a half of another game.
When I think hamstring, I'm thinking a week, maybe a couple of weeks at the max, just to get up, take it easy, and the trainers will work on that leg, and he'll be right probably in a couple of weeks. Not a month. I mean, he missed the preseason, and then now he's missed, 4? I've never heard of a player being out that long with a hamstring. I've never heard of that before. Not that long. I mean, maybe I'll say I'll give you a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks roughly. But after 2 weeks, I think he should be jogging, doing, little light laps, little stretching, and start get back to the routine. Not 2 months. He's really been out about 2 months. I have never heard of that for a hamstring. I've been watching NFL, brother. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've been a Jets fan, Yankee fan for 40 years. I'm going back to the Sack Exchange, Richard Todd. I have never heard of any player being out this long with a hamstring. What is going on? I mean, what is going on here? For a hamstring? I mean, I could give you a couple of weeks on a hamstring. I say 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. If it's severe, real severe, pull, it's pretty rough. 2 months? I mean, what is his status? Have you heard anything on Mims? Anything?
Mims, first
I'm kind of like Joe Mening. I'm kind of get like Joe Mening on now. Joe Mening, I'm getting like him now. He talk about a hamstring. I remember I listened to his stuff. He was going in and ranting. Now I pull it up on YouTube. He is classic. You need to listen at it. This guy is hilarious. He telling the truth though.
Yeah. Listen, Mims, from what we're knowing, it looks like he's not going to be able to come back from IR this week. It's looking like maybe next week they'll try to see where he's at. But Le'Veon Bell is coming back, so we're excited about that news.
What in the world?
From everything that's being said, it's a hamstring, and that's just kind of how it's working here. I mean, but with all that said, I gotta keep going through because I got callers on the line again. I want to thank you for calling in. Let me get your final prediction,
and I appreciate you.
Let me get your final prediction for this game.
Based on all what we've been doing, I have to say 38-6. I say 38-8 with a 2-point safety with James Morgan taking a safety, a 2-point safety. It's not going to be pretty, man. It's officially, we're tanking.
All right.
Yeah, so I hate to say that to you, but, be realistic. It doesn't look good. We can't stop Kyler Murray, man. He's going to be running around out there like people chasing a rabbit. Can't catch that rabbit, or a squirrel or something real quick, and you can't catch it. So that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be really ugly, man. Let's just hope that it's ugly as possible and that somehow, by the grace of God, the Jets ownership finally gets some guts and gets their mind together and say, no, we've had enough. And maybe some flash will come up on your phone and my phone and announce that Adam Gase has been fired as the New York head coach of the New York Jets. So that's the best case scenario I keep playing out every week. So, Joe, I appreciate you. Love you, brother. And I'm going to keep tuning in and keep following you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for checking out all my content, man. You have a good night.
And you too, buddy.
All right. You have a good one. Whew, man, a great caller calls in from the Carolinas. Phenomenal insight on the team. I know a lot of fans are upset as well, and they're just tired. They're so tired about this football. It's only week 5, and we're already talking about how, hey, look, we're done. We just can't wait for the off season. It's only week 5. This team will do it to you every time. It'll do it to you every time. People are upset, and it's understandable. It is completely understandable. This team's a mess. This franchise is a mess. We're constantly talking about, the issues of head coach here. We're waiting for them to get rid of Adam Gase at some point. And it seems like Chris Johnson, Woody Johnson, they don't care. They're not going to do it. It's completely ridiculous. So I'm gonna come back to the phones in a second. 347. When I come back, you'll be up. But I'm going to get to the chat because my guys in the chat, the savages in the chat, they get after it, all right? Freedom Country in the chat says, I feel like practically every QB would struggle in this situation. With the talent around and the coach, Sam has regressed and made mistakes, but it doesn't help he's in a dumpster fire. That's facts. That's facts. It really does not help that he's in a dumpster fire. It doesn't help that we haven't done enough to surround him with talent, that they've given him, horrible protection. And then the coaching is awful. It's completely awful. Another person in the chat says, there's a lot of Steelers fans that can't wait for the Jets to make a trade so that they can get Sam Darnold. We've been hearing about that. I've had Steelers fans all over the place tell me that they cannot wait. They cannot wait to get Sam Darnold. They cannot wait. There's so many saying that. So I'm going to get back to the callers. 937, when I come back, you're going to be on. So let's go ahead and get into it. 973, give me your thoughts on this Jets game against the Cardinals.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on, my friend? What are your thoughts about this Jets game, these Cardinals? How are you feeling about Sam Darnold being out and Joe Flacco being in?
It's really scary where you're in a spot where you're going against the Arizona Cardinals and you're going, uh-oh, we're in trouble. This is not a franchise that people are normally scared of or threatened of, but the Jets really got to look at the Cardinals and think, man, we're just getting overpowered at just about both sides of the ball here. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a situation. Go ahead.
And the Cardinals, I mean, they got Kyler Murray. He's a new guy. He is not a prototypical quarterback, right? He's got his size is a little weird. He probably runs more than a lot of quarterbacks generally do. So, but guess what? The Cardinals have figured out a way to make him work. He is the centerpiece of the offense. Despite that, he's a little different. He's a little out there, but they're making him work. He's looking good. People are excited. And then you look at Darnold, who is more traditional style, right? Like he's a little taller, he's a little slower. Supposedly he has like a stronger arm. And the Jets can't figure this guy out. They can't figure out an offense that he likes. They can't get players around him that he has good chemistry with. They have the Jets aren't any closer to knowing what offense does this guy work with. There's no idea.
Mm-hmm.
With Gase, the offensive coordinator, who the only reason he got this job was fix Darnold. He's even worse than he was before Gase got here. I mean, it's just disaster.
Yeah,
and I'm really
insane.
sick of Douglas. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
We could go into it, and you're bringing the fire right now, and I hear you. We've had so many people call in and say the exact same thing, that Sam looks worse than he did last year. He looks worse than he did when he was in Jeremy Bates' offense, and you were brought here to work with him and, help him along, and he's supposed to be ascending, and your coaching and your nonsense is making it worse, especially when we're hearing things like, out of his own mouth that he cannot audible out of plays. That's ridiculous. He's in his third year in the offense. He can't come to the line and see some things, diagnose it, and change it. That's ridiculous.
And that's the scary part, because it's the third year now. And now this is the point where, every year that a quarterback is in the NFL, they're picking up, they're getting knowledge, they're picking up quirks. They change. As a rookie, you don't know any better. You're throwing the ball out there, and you're seeing guys who just started this season, like Herbert and Burrows, they don't know any better to be afraid, which plays to their advantage. They're just throwing the ball out there, and, hey, you know what? Sometimes guys catch the ball. But Darnold has been hit so many times that he cannot go out there and, be like, hey, I don't mind. He's been hit enough times to know, damn, I don't want to get hit. So he has to play naturally. He starts playing more afraid. I don't blame the man, but that's what happens. And when a quarterback plays afraid, they almost never come back. This is what happened to Bledsoe with the Patriots. Before Brady got there, Bledsoe was awesome. But what happened to Bledsoe? He started taking some scary hits. And after Bledsoe took a couple of nasty hits, I think he missed a few weeks at one point, he started playing scared because he was like, the next hit could be my last one. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. He got hit, and history it's been changed forever since then. So, and I see that happening to Darnold. He's starting to play scared.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy. I said the exact same thing, and some people were like, no, Joe, that doesn't make sense. You're bringing the fire right now. I told people, I said, listen, when you put quarterbacks in situations where they're taking shots, usually two things happen. Either one, they end up with a lot of injuries like Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck retired early. He said, no, my body doesn't feel good. I'm tired of rehabbing. I'm out of here. But the other thing that happens is when they get shell-shocked, and that's exactly what you were talking about. But the example that I used was Carr. Remember Carr with the Texans? He took a bunch of shots and was just never the same. He would come out and he would see pass rushers that were not there. He would see ghosts, like guys that were supposedly coming for him that were never in tape. He was so erratic and so scared and so skittish that he would just throw the ball right as it would get hiked because he was so used to having to just chuck the ball out of there so he wouldn't take shots. And you're bringing the fire right now, man, because you're talking about everything that I've talked about as well, particularly, with our offensive line looking the way that it does with Becton, especially being out because of the shoulder injury. But when you talk about some of these guys on the playmaker, we're looking like right now we're going to get Le'Veon Bell back. Do you think Le'Veon will be utilized in this game against the Cardinals? Do you think that Gaze will make an effort to make sure that Le'Veon gets the ball in his hands if he does play?
I would put the chance of that at 1%. I mean, it would really need to be a miracle at this point for Gaze to decide all of a sudden magically, hey, Bell is this great guy that we should start using. If that's so out of character for Gaze, this season is at a point where, like, who cares? It doesn't matter if Bell plays great. That doesn't guarantee that Gaze or even Bell is going to stay, even if magically Bell has a good game. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and see, here's the thing with the Bell trade, right? So the Bell, or picking up Bell, was a little risky. And the Steelers, when Bell started, chirping about, hey, I'm going to need some more money, I'm not sure if I really like this organization, the Steelers didn't even hesitate. They said, okay, walk, man, see ya. They didn't even blink. And that shows you how good the Steelers are at evaluating players. Now, they respected Bell as a player, but they knew, hey, we got this Connor guy. He's fine. He'll be just as good. And now Bell thought that he was all that he was, oh, man, I'm a great running back. I'm a superstar. Well, now he's on the Jets. And on the Jets, you don't have any help. There's nobody to help you. If you get the ball and you're running, it's just all you by yourself. And now Bell is seeing that he's not a great running back. He's a good running back, but he's not a great because he is getting killed back. This is the worst year of his career. Now, Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, maybe Emmitt Smith, the all-time greats, yes, they would be, getting some production on the Jets. But if you're less than great, you're not doing anything on this team. Forget it. There's nobody to help you.
How concerned are you going to the defensive side of the ball? How concerned are you with their matchup with their wide receivers and the weapons that they have with our secondary? I mean, could you see Desir just giving up, 100-plus yards to DeAndre Hopkins Lord. Easily?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord almighty. There's nobody to put on DeAndre. I mean, just nobody. You put Desir, you put anybody else, they're going to get smoked. And this has been a problem since Revis left, that we're still trying to figure out what the hell this secondary is. I mean, we're talking like 3 head coaches down the line and 3 GMs, and the Jets still have no secondary. They're getting destroyed, obliterated against everybody. At least twice a game you're giving up a 3 and long. At least twice a game they're converting some stupid 3rd and 15 on a run. Oh, yep, they got it. I mean, or anything. It could be a short pass and it turns into 20 yards. So this has been a continuous problem for the Jets really since Revis left. I don't know if he put a curse on the corner, but, I mean, it has been a big problem. And anybody the Jets have drafted on defense, 9 times out of 10, it has been a bust. They have been, if we're lucky, they can be a starter on the team, but they're never that superstar guy. I mean, I'm still angry about Leonard Williams. I mean, come on, man. And it's just you can rattle off 9-10 guys over the last 3 years. So even though we've had some defensive coaches come in here, the ability to evaluate defensive talent has been absolutely terrible.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. How concerned are you about Kyler Murray's mobility? Because that's the thing I think is going to burn us as well. The fact that guy can get out the pocket and take off, I think is going to hurt us early and often. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, he might, I think you might not need to be worried about his run so much because I think he's going to have a great time passing the ball, unfortunately. But if he needs to run, he definitely has that. And, with Jamal Adams being gone, now you really have to be worried. I mean, if Jamal Adams is here, and, that circumstance is out of the Jets' control for in a lot of ways, so I'm not going to dock him for that. But that's really where Jamal Adams would really shine in a game like this, right? Okay, hey, if he starts to run, we know Jamal Adams can get on him and hit him hard at least. But the Jets don't have that. So, I mean, they're really in trouble. I think the Cardinals are really going to have their pick of how they want to win, whether Kyler runs, whether the Hopkins burns the secondary, or they just run the ball and control the clock. This is going to be a feast for the Cardinals in their tough division. This is a game.
Yeah. So for you, what is the final score prediction for this game against the Cardinals?
I think Cardinals are going to score 34 points. They're going to score most of those points in the first half and let off again.
No, battery charged.
Wow, great call from that caller. He actually brought the fire early. It was absolutely insane. It was good to hear from him. I'm going to keep going with the calls in a second, but we're going to get to the chat because the Savages are going crazy in the chat. You know what I'm saying? They're just absolutely going after it. Salute to all of you. Salute to the Angry Buffalo sports fan as well. He's going nuts in the chat, but also salute to Jesse Hill. Jesse Hill in the chat says, man, the Jets will make you drink. Hey, listen, I'm not a drinker, but I have friends that are big-time Jets fans, and they say the Jets just put them in a bad mood every single time after a game, and, they end up having a couple. It's just completely ridiculous the way that this team is looking, man. But I'm going to get from the chat. I'm going to go back to these callers, 917. We're coming to you. I want to get your thoughts on this upcoming Jets game against the Cardinals.
Hey, LBJ, what's going on?
What's going on, my man? How are you feeling about this Jets-Cardinals game? Flacco's in. Sam Darnold's out. How are you feeling about this quarterback position?
Oh, man, it's horrible, man. I don't know what to say. It's going to be a thrash in this week, man. There's no bright sides, man. There's no bright sides to this game.
So I know you think it's going to be a thrash, and a lot of fans are feeling the exact same way. I understand it. When you look at this situation, though, it looks like we might get Le'Veon Bell back this week if he does play in this game. What are you expecting out of him, man? Do you expect Adam Gase to utilize him effectively, or?
Oh my God, we had Le'Veon for a year and a half. Like him coming to play, like him coming back is gonna make a difference. We seen for a year and a half what's gonna happen. It doesn't matter if Le'Veon's back. I saw last year where it was three rushes, 3-yard rushes and stuff like that. Adam Gase is going to do the same thing, man. It's crazy.
Man,
but I got a question for you, Joe. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you think at some time the Jets should look into bringing, at least in the defensive coaching, maybe Bart Scott and Antonio Cromartie, just to help these guys get up to speed? Because I see these guys talk a lot, and they seem like they know what these players are going through. So don't you think it would be smart for the organization to say, hey, let's bring in some of these past guys and just teach these young guys how to get things going and what to look for and how to keep your head above water?
Yeah, I wouldn't be necessarily against that. Again, just because you're a good player, though, or a good player in the past doesn't always mean that you're going to be a good coach. But I do know that, like, Cromartie I think he's coaching young kids right now. I want to say at least I've seen in the past that he was working with college athletes. He was working on, the fundamentals with them and different things like that. I think he did have a coaching clinic. I know that Bart Scott, I've talked, from time to time about coaching guys. Yeah, if you could bring these young guys in or bring those older guys in, and help motivate this team, I guess that would be a look. But we've had former Jets on the coaching staff before. Marvin Jones. Remember the second year where our defense was terrible? With the second year of Ryan Fitzpatrick when our defense was really bad. Hey, look. Marvin Jones was working with guys. I know Pepper Johnson was on that year.
Yeah,
I think Pepper Johnson was on the roster too, and he left. And he was was trying to tell Todd Bowles and all those guys, listen, there's things need to change, and they used to laugh at him. There's an article out where he talked about it. He talked about it with media personnel. So it's like, man, there's some issues there. But I mean, bringing old Jets back to help work with certain guys, I think would be decent. But there's some issues here. There's some issues talent-wise, but there's also some issues with the calls. Let's talk about the defense, because you talked about the secondary. Particularly this cornerback position is looking horrific. It's looking pretty bad. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, how do you feel about this matchup with Hopkins? I mean, how would you double him? Would you allow Desir to be on him single man? I mean, what would you do to try to slow this guy down?
Oh my God. There's nothing Desir can't do anything. So even if you double Hopkins, he's just that good of a player that he could It's nothing the Jets could do. They're going to be running around free. It's going to be a practice for the Cardinals, man. It's going to be like going against a practice team, or their second squad at this point. That's what the Jets are made of. They're just made out of, a second. They're like the practice squad right now. They're not even that good to be confident. Tell me, Joe, I want to ask you, tell me one bright spot that you see on the defense. There's no bright spot. Well, I can't say it's Zuniga. I can't say I can't say anybody because nobody's on the field. This is ridiculous. It's just so tough to root for this team, and I want to so bad, but the talent that they have is just not up to par at this point, man. And it's everybody says Adam Gase, but it's also Joe Douglas too. He has a hand in this, and he could have got this put together a lot better for this coming season.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, and I brought that up as well. In videos, or various parts of my content where I say, listen, Adam Gase is a terrible coach. We all know that, but when are we going to start to look at Joe Douglas, though? Because there's some things that Joe Douglas could have done that he did not do. I remember we were talking about it before going into the offseason. We all said to ourselves, hey, there's a need at wide receiver. There's a need along the offensive line. We need to figure this stuff out. And you go into the draft where there's various great wide receivers, and you only come out of that draft with one wide receiver, and then you draft again. I'm not bashing Joe Douglas. I'm just bringing up facts. You drafted a quarterback in the fourth round that we have yet to see anything. Can you say that the backup quarterback was more of a need over wide receiver or pass rusher or any of these other issues that we had? I mean, I don't know. And even going into the season when we had so many guys injured as well, we had a lot of guys injured. It's like, okay, well, if you look at this wide receiver core that's decimated by injuries, how do you not go out and sign, some of these guys were out here. Mohamed Sanu was out there. All these guys out there, you just kind of stood pat, and you kept these guys. And especially when you let a guy like Robbie Anderson go, it's like, you bring in Perryman. I mean, what's going on?
And that's the crazy part, because in the fourth round, you picked the backup quarterback when you definitely told Sam Darnold parents that you're going to protect their child, that you're going to build around him, and then you give him no weapons. Either Adam Gase has him blackmailed, because it seems like, it's just Adam Gase picking these players. It doesn't seem like Douglas has a voice in the room at all, because everything Adam Gase wants, it seems like Douglas just goes out and gets it, because it doesn't seem like he's picking any players. It seems like Gase is saying, hey, I want this. Okay, so let me get that for you. And that's how it's going down. Because there were so many free agents out there that you could look at, the pass rusher from the Jaguars that that got traded for a fourth or third round pick. It's just ridiculous to not kick the tires. And Joe Douglas always talk about kicking tires on all these players, and he never kicks tires on anybody else. He just wants to get rid of all his players and don't bring in anybody. And if you do, he's bringing you in for a 1-year deal. And this is what we're getting, 1-year players that's playing like crap right now. They're not going to be here next year. They don't even care about this season.
Talk about it. Let me tell you something, and this is something we're going to be talking about this upcoming offseason, is the mirage, right? The mirage of this team, because a lot of people think that some of these players that are here right now are going to be here for, 2-3 years to those situations are filled. Oh, no. There's a lot of guys on 1-year deals. A lot of them. Yeah. And guess what? When they're gone, you got to fill their spot with somebody. So all of you that are screaming for Trevor Lawrence, right, and when you want to use that pick, guess what? There could be an opening at corner. There could be an opening at outside linebacker because Jordan Jenkins is on a 1-year deal as well. There's very wide receiver, but Todd Perryman, 1-year deal. Even though, these guys, I mean, Jordan Jenkins is playing okay. Pierre Desir's trash. Perryman, he's, but these are guys that those are just bodies there. When they're gone, you don't have nobody.
And
so
you don't know
there's
what
Mims
is.
If we're still trying
to So this is crazy. You don't know what any player that you drafted look like. Piran's out there, but you're not giving him the ball. You might as well, at this point, the season's over. Put them in and see what you got there. It's Salmon. Yeah.
Week 5, we're saying the season's over. Oh my goodness! Just look at Quentin Williams. I would have preferred the Josh Allen guy from the Jaguars, the pass rusher from there. If we're dealing with this, I'd rather deal with Josh Allen from the Jaguars. So it's just crazy. Yeah, give me your final score prediction for the game, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna be more reasonable. I think it's gonna be 30-9. 12 the most Cardinals. I think the Cardinals going to take it. But I think every point is just going to be field goals. I think Fick is going to have a good leg. So I think it's going to be 9 or 12. The Jets are going to get no more than that.
Well, you have a good night, man. I want to thank you for calling in.
No problem. Have a good night, Joe.
Have a good one. And listen, there's a lot of Jets fans that are upset with the situation. I understand it. They're calling it how they're seeing it. They're looking at this team and they're going, there's a lot of issues. And again, some of the issues on this team, it just doesn't sit squarely in the lap Adam Gase. Oh no, there's some issues that have been, kind of created by Joe Douglas as well. Him not moving for certain guys. You want to let Robbie go? That's fine. But you got to replace that lack of talent. Again, we had a lack of talent at wide receiver, period. You got to get the guys in here to really fill that space up. Because if you don't, then we're going to look kind of how we look. And there's issues. You can call Joe Douglas out on certain things. And that's one of the things that, I looked at and I was trying to tell people, listen, I like Joe Douglas. I'm not banging it. I'm not bashing him. I'm not banging on his drafts. I'm not doing that. But I am saying, listen, there were some holes there and you needed to fill them with, players that can come in and play. And I don't know if we necessarily did that. So I'm going to keep on going on with the show. First, I'm going to get to the chat really quickly. I'm going to come back to the callers in a second. But the chat, Jersey Dude in the chat, salute to you, Jersey Dude. Jersey Dude says, I'm exhausted of the Jets. So sick of the incompetence. Look, I hear you. Especially when you're allowing Adam Gase to stay on your, football team as a head coach after seeing what you've seen from him. That's completely ridiculous. It's just insane. But I'm going to get back to these callers. 904, I'm coming to you, 904. Let me know what your thoughts are about this upcoming game against the Cardinals as a Jets fan. $904, it's your time, man. Let me know how you feeling about this Jets team. Darnold is out. Flacco is in. How are you feeling about that?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? It's Chris from Florida. I just want to tell my Jets fans, don't worry, man. The season is still going, and we're going to have football next year at least, hopefully with no Adam Gase. How do I feel about the Joe Flacco thing? Well, I know this is going to sound harsh, but I really hope that, it doesn't go well for Flacco, mainly because I don't mean to be bad for his career, but it's just how much more do we have to show this franchise ownership that this guy's got to go? It's unbelievable. Yeah. The fact that Adam Gase is still hired and Bill O'Brien is gone. How do you explain that to me? I couldn't even predict that. I could have predicted the lottery numbers better than this.
Yeah, it's completely insane. And, I talked about that as well. The fact that you watch the Texans look at the situation and go, whoa, wait a second. This guy here, Bill O'Brien, is doing some things that could cause irreversible damage to our franchise and irreversible damage to our franchise quarterback. We're making a change. We're not standing pat. We're not going to wait. We're not going to wait for him to do something more to really put us in a situation where we're done. Oh, no. You're out of here, Bill O'Brien, and we're getting you out of here as soon as possible. And they fired him. Now, why the Jets don't do that, I have no clue whatsoever. Because when you look at the situation with Adam Gase, hell, most media pundits, they're sitting around saying, how is this guy still hired? How does he still have a job? But again, that lends to the incompetence of Chris Johnson and Woody Johnson. It leads to the incompetence of our ownership. It's completely ridiculous. But I want to get to the defensive side of the ball with you for a second, man. When you look at Kyler Murray, how concerned are you with us, dealing with him as far as his mobility, his arm strength? Are you concerned that he'll get outside the pocket and really extend plays and be able to make plays, just launching us and torching us, getting from outside that pocket and just throwing the ball down the field?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can only look at Kyler Murray as just a shorter Josh Allen, but with actual accuracy. So this kid's going to run around this defense, especially since, we've got to not only deal with Fitzpatrick, who is a future Hall of Famer, of course, but we got to deal with Hopkins. And, how can we possibly deal with this when our secondary is just awful? You hope Quentin Williams has a good game, but knowing that Kyler Murray is a very mobile quarterback and we only have one real high driving tank in the center of the defensive line, all Kyler Murray's got to do is juke a little move, dodge Jenkins, who may or may not even play. We don't know. And there you go. Then multiple first downs. And I really think the Cardinals are going to just drive all the way to the red zone.
Yeah. And I mean, that's tough. I mean, you look at this situation. I'm worried too. I'm really worried about that, especially like you said as well with the matchup with Hopkins. I mean, it's just a complete mess. This guy is an elite wide receiver in the league, and our secondary, especially Pierre Desir, has looked very bad. Bless Austin may be out there. He's questionable. If he is out there, we still got to wonder, hey, how much is that injury going to affect him in his play? So there's issues. What do you think we're going to get out of Quentin Williams in this game, though? What are you expecting from him?
Well, I feel like Quentin Williams will be the main focus on this defense no matter what right now, mainly because obviously we're hoping Marcus May will take a very strong move as far as being a strong safety. But hopefully Quentin Williams, I'm hoping he will really try to bust through that offensive line, and at least I'm hoping for at least 2 sacks from Quentin Williams, which will be a big help, especially if he can bring it down during a third and long, if possible. But again, the question is how well can this defense keep Kyler Murray in the pocket, because we've been noticing a lot with the past 2 games that the Cardinals, that Kyler Murray has kind of been struggling with his passing so long as they've kept him in the pocket. But if you let him open, if he doesn't see an opening, he's competent enough to say, hey, I'll just juke a couple of players and run to the first down, even if it's just in the very first yard. So like I said, I really hope Quentin Williams does, bring in the heat, especially during a third and long, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. But I want to get your final thoughts about this, Go ahead.
Well, I have a question for you. I was curious because you brought up coaching. Let's consider the situation that the Jets we're now at free agent. We're now at the end of the season, and we fired, Adam Gase. My question is for you, what do you believe the Jets as a franchise needs to do to attract the best coach? Because not only do we have to deal with other franchises who are also predictably losing head coaches and have openings, but you have to understand that their situation is much different than ours. Yeah, people will predict that we have the first round pick, but look at how we've been run. Look at the presentation we've been putting out there. What do you feel like the franchise should be doing to try and attract that top coach to say, hey, you should come here and bring us a Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I think what we need to do as a franchise is allow the coaching candidates to know that Joe Douglas is the guy that's in charge and let the Johnsons just step back. If we've hired Joe Douglas, we've brought him in as our general manager, so he should be the guy making decisions. The coaching candidate needs to know that the Johnsons will not be involved in the football stuff. They need to get out of that, and I think that's one of the biggest problems on this football team or in the history of the team since they owned it, is they love to try to mingle and try to mess around with the football stuff, and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's obvious that they don't know what they're doing. I mean, okay, look at the situation we're in now, right? Look at how they handled the situation with Mike McCagnon. Garbage GM, we all knew it. They didn't do, what they needed to do. They weren't paying attention or asleep at the wheel. They let this guy have a full free agency and draft, and then they fired him. And this was after Chris Johnson hiring Adam Gase. That's insane. Like, you should not be involved in the football decisions, my man. You should not do that. They need to let the football guys make football decisions, and they do not need to be involved in football decisions. But I don't think that we're as unattractive as some may believe that we are, because we have three things, right? We have a franchise QB. We pretty much all believe that Sam is a franchise quarterback. Even if you don't, you can't really say that he's not, because we haven't put him in a situation to be successful. No quarterback would be successful in this situation, right? So we have a young franchise talented QB. That's one thing, right? Two, we have lots of draft picks, especially since that trade by, we got rid of Jamal Adams. We got, 2 firsts, I think, in the next, or 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years or something like that. And we also have, some solid mid-round picks as well from that trade. 3, we got a lot of capital coming back as far as our cap, because we're going to get quite a bit of money. Again, it depends on how the situation with the railroad plays out, because, again, no fans going to the stadium is going to cut things out. But those 3 things alone will attract head coaches. Hell, just Sam Darnold by himself wanted, Mike McCarthy wanted to come here simply to be, to work with Sam Darnold. That's all he wanted. So there's things that can attract the coaching, but I think, and you hit the nail on the head when you talked about the circus atmosphere, the bad ownership, the nonsense, that will push away and drive away head coaching candidates. So that was a very good take by you.
Who wouldn't want to go to Houston and play with Watson, or who wouldn't want to go to the Falcons and play with Matty Ice and all that? That's what I'm wondering. So I think, in my opinion, you brought great points, and I think what the Johnsons should really do is they should go to Joe Douglas and say, hey, here's a blank check. Go do your research with your team, and you fill out this check for whoever you think is the best, and we'll just stand from the sidelines and watch. That's what the Johnson family should really do. I agree with you 100%. We've already got some really good fishing bait, so we should just let the GM, how it should be done, the GM find his coach. Especially.
That's my thing. It's just like I think we're a little bit more attractive than others, but again, and you brought up a great point, is the circus atmosphere, that stuff, especially when you have meddling owners that don't know what they're doing, that stuff will definitely drive a coach away. But my final question for you is, what is your score prediction for this game against the Cardinals, man?
I'm really scared, because I do feel like, what if Adam Gase is actually a good coach, but only with people with massively long years of experience? So I'm going to put this, and I'm mad that I say this, I think Flacco will do pretty well with this system, and I'm going to say it's going to be a close game, 14-6, hopefully.
14-6 Jets?
Yeah.
14-6
scared
Jets. Okay. Okay, you got the Jets winning 14-6. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm scared that Adam Gase will show that maybe it was because Peyton Manning had experience in the NFL and so many years that he finally he could understand the playbook that Adam Gase has, and maybe Flacco will be the next one. I'm hoping I'm kind of wrong, but I don't know. This is a real good question we could be asking us as fans. It's like, he didn't do well with a young Ryan Tannehill, but he did so. Particularly what the words was that he did well with the Peyton Manning. So what if it was he can't handle young, fresh talent? He can only handle experienced, already, aged talent. This is a question I wonder sometimes. But we'll see it this Sunday, So, no matter what, man, go Jets. I love it. And thank you so much for your show, man. And keep up the support with, breast cancer awareness. We're all praying for you guys out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, you have a good night, man. Thank you for calling in.
You as well. Go Jets!
Ooh, Chris, let me tell you something. Chris calling in sparked the fire right there. He's taking the Jets. He's taking the Jets to beat the Cardinals. Let me tell you something. You know what I'm saying? He's letting it be known that's how he's feeling. But I'm going to get back to the callers as well. I'm going to keep going with the callers. But before I get right back to the callers, we're going to go to chat really quickly. Tyler Journaling in the chat says, Gaze doesn't utilize Bell, so we're screwed either way. Look, Tyler, I hear you. I hear you there. We're looking to see what happens there. If Bell does play, I need to see that guy, get the ball in his hands. But we're going to go to 347 really quickly. Let me know your thoughts about this upcoming game against the Cardinals.
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
What's going on? How are you doing today?
Listen, I'm sorry. Earlier, what happened was while I was waiting, while listening to the other callers in your show, I was Googling Adam Gase, offensive genius, and my phone caught a virus. And that's why when you were trying to talk to me, I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. So I apologize for that.
It's all good, man. I figured you just chucked your phone off the bridge. You were just tired of it. You just chucked your phone and said, the hell with it. I'm tired of this team. Get rid of this. I'm tired of it all. But I want to get your thoughts really quickly on this game. You look at this situation. Sam Darnold is out dealing with that shoulder injury. Joe Flacco is in. How do you feel like this offense will perform under Flacco?
Well, the last caller, Chris from Florida, I'm going to remember that, by the way, because tomorrow when everything that he thinks is going to happen does it, I'm going to be just, whatever. So here's the thing, right? Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, right? And so he's here now. And maybe that last caller was right. Maybe an older quarterback, an older player can understand what Adam Gase is trying to do. But here's the problem. The defense and everybody watching at home knows what Adam Gase wants to do. So, and then the other thing that I took away from his prediction was he said 14-6, right? Does he not know that Perriman is our cornerback? So are you just all of a sudden made Perriman into Darrelle Revis from 2009? No.
You mean Pierre Desir, yeah.
Desir, I'm sorry. You see, I'm all disoriented talking about it. But
it's okay. We'll get through it. I understand. You're angry. I get it. You're ready to bring it to people. Look, I understand. Go ahead.
But real quick, here's a little history lesson, which you probably know this because every time I talk to you about something with the Jets, I'm thinking, I think I stumped him, but you know everything. But now that we're playing Arizona, right? Back when we took Sam Darnold in the draft, we all thought, the whole world thought, that Sam Darnold was going number 1 to Cleveland, right? So our depth chart all of a sudden was like, okay, there's Josh Allen, there's Baker Mayfield, and there's Josh Rosen, right? Now, out of all those quarterbacks, the worst one, obviously, is Josh Rosen. And that was going to be the guy that Mike McCagnon was going to take.
Do you think it was Josh Rosen?
No, I know it was Josh Rosen because they said it in an interview afterwards.
Yeah.
They saw that Baker Mayfield was selected by Cleveland. The paper that they submitted to Roger Goodell with the draft pick had Josh Rosen X'd out, and Sam Darnold was written over the top because they couldn't believe that he was still there. So it's hilarious.
I know. Initially, they were looking at Baker Mayfield too. Initially, Baker Mayfield was going to be one of their targeted guys because there was a lot of talk pre-draft as well that he was interested in Josh Allen. There was a lot of talk about that as well.
Right. And at the end of the day, the Jets being the Jets, we were going to take Josh Rosen. So imagine right now, a football team ran by Adam Gase with Josh Rosen as the franchise quarterback. So to all the Jets fans out there, the ones that are listening to us right now, things could be worse. Okay? So, but moving aside from that, what people need to understand is this. This is our guy, okay? Sam Darnold is our guy. He is not given the opportunity to succeed here. You know why Josh Allen is doing great over there in Buffalo? Because they put weapons around them. They have a top 5 defense. They gave him all the opportunity to succeed, and guess what? They're 4-0, and they're probably going to be 5-0 after this week is over. So when you give your franchise quarterback an opportunity to succeed, and he takes it, what else could you ask for? When you're here in New York, and it's like, let's give away the stuff that works. Robbie out, get rid of him. Bring in these other guys. You know, like, doesn't make any sense. Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Le'Veon
it absolutely doesn't. But really quickly, I'm sorry, really quickly, because we're going to run out of time really soon. But I want to get your final prediction for this game. Give me your final score.
Okay, sorry, Chris from Florida, but this is going to be 30 to maybe 9, and I bet you that the 9, the last field goal that we kick, it'll be 4th and 1 at like the 5-yard line, and Adam Gase, instead of going for it, is just going to say kick a field goal.
Oh my God! All right, I want to thank you for calling in, man. Please call in the next time in our stream. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much.
Oh man, listen, he called in with the fire. We're coming to the end of the show here, folks. Again, I want to thank everyone for listening, no matter where you're listening to me from. So my final score prediction, I'm looking at this situation with the Jets right now, and we're banged up at wide receiver. If Le'Veon plays, I'm still wondering how Adam Gase is going to utilize him. His offensive line does not look good without Becton. It didn't look good in Denver against Denver, without Becton. You look at us defensively. Oh boy, this matchup with Hopkins and Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald just boggles my mind. I don't think we'll be able to cover, those guys. At least not Hopkins by itself. So I'm guessing we'll double Hopkins and take our chances with Kirk and Fitzgerald, but those guys are still solid. So in this game, I have the Jets losing to the Cardinals. 37-3. 37-3. I'm taking the Cardinals. That's who I'm taking. So it is what it is. I mean, they're just, I'm just absolutely taking the Cardinals in this football game. So I want to thank you folks for watching. Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. Also leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. That's 3 zeros. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me, in the comments, no issues. I will troll you right back. I'm also on Twitter as well. The show's page is The Long Beach Joe. I'm also on YouTube as well at YoungJ00. YoungJ00 on YouTube. I also have The Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets as well on YouTube. And as always, folks, when you see me in person, it's arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone, okay? Free hugs. They'll cost you absolutely nothing. Thank you, folks, for listening. You folks have a good one.